So good day, I am the Cadet Eronjit Arendayan and we are the Group 2. Our topic for today, semi-final week 2, session 2 is the topic Maneuvering Boards Review. So our course outcome, which can be read in our course guide, is to perform manual plotting techniques given the information from the radar observation. So that's our course outcome. So next, our learning outcome. To refresh the knowledge about how to do manual plotting techniques given the information from the radar observation. It was already discussed in our previous years, the manual plotting using the maneuvering board. And in order for us to refresh that knowledge is that we will review the terms that was used in that topic because we will utilize it now in this course. Our next learning outcome is to understand the difference between true and relative motion that is essential in excelling in maneuvering boards. Because in order for you to get the true speed and the true course, you first get the true motion, which is derived from the relative motion. So next, the importance of the topic is that the importance of radar plotting is that you can calculate the track object's speed, course, and closest point of approach and other details that you can get in order for you to assess the situation or in order for you to know the aspect of that vessel, to know if there is such danger of collision exists with the other ship or other land masses. Our agenda for today is the definition of relative motion. Next is the true bearings versus relative bearings, the difference of the two. Next is the maneuvering board. Next is the relative plot. And next is the application or example of collision avoidance, which will be discussed by the next group. So that's all for my report. I will now give the floor to my fellow cadet or fellow groupmate for the discussion of our report. That's all. Thank you.
Topics about the true versus relative motion. So according to the definition, true motion is the movement of an object with the respect to the surface of the earth, while the relative motion is the apparent movement of the object with respect to another moving object. So there are two basic displays used to portray target, position, and motion on the navigational radars. The relative motion display that portrays the motion of the target relative to the motion of the observing ship, while the true motion display it portrays the actual or the true motion of the targets and the observing ship. So to make it shorter, true motion is the motion that an object is moving respect to the ground, while the relative motion is the motion that another object is moving with respect to your vessel. So next is the relative movement. So it is represented on the maneuvering board. So consider yourself on board ship monitoring action of other ships. So find the actual course and speed required to bring about desired change in the relative position in maneuvering a ship at sea. So next is the true versus relative bearings. So number one is the line of sight or the LOS. It is defined as the straight line between an observer and an object. So second one is the true bearings. So it is defined as the direction measured with respect to the true geographic north. So the true bearing of a radar target is the angle between the true north and the line pointed directly at the target. This angle is measured at the horizontal plane and in a clockwise direction from the true north. Last one is the relative bearings. So it is defined as the direction measured with the reference to the ship longitudinal axis. So the bearing angle to the radar target may also be measured in a clockwise direction from the center line of your own ship, and it is defined as the relative bearings. So last one is the line of sight. So each line of sight has two directions which differ by 180 degrees. Headings of either ship does not affect the LOS. So line of sight is a type of propagation that can transmit and receive data only where transmit and receive station are in view of each other without any sort of an obstacle between them. FM radio, microwave, and satellite transmission radar are example of line of sight communication.
True bearings. True bearings is expressed as a horizontal angle between a geographic meridian and a line on the Earth. It is a bearing measured clockwise from true north in degrees to line of sight. Heading of ship does not affect the bearing, and reference line true north remains the same regardless of movement. So, in this illustration, it is shown that a true bearing is based on the true geographic north, and as the ship's course is facing 45 degrees true, the bearing of its target is 135 degrees true, because ship's course 45 degrees plus 90 degrees, we will get 135 degrees true. And in the north, we have 000 degrees true, in the east 90 degrees true, and in the west we have 270 degrees true. Relative bearings. Relative bearings is measured in degrees from ship's heading or course clockwise to the observed object. So remember that course of reference ship will always affect relative bearing because it is the reference line for relative bearing.
Remember that never plot relative bearings on a maneuvering board and must convert relative bearings to true bearings before plotting. So we will start our relative from the ship heading, then clockwise, then in our ship heading we have our 000 degree relative, then in our starboard side 090 degree relative, then in our behind the ship or the stern part is 180 degree relative, and in port side is 270 degree relative. So find the relative bearing. So in this ship heading, so we will start at 000 degree relative. Then in our starboard side is 090 degree relative. Then in our stern part is 180 degree relative. So that's our relative bearings. Then to I will explain this. I will explain how how to get this 135 degree true by using our relative bearing. So this target is uh, at 090 degree relative. So to get this true bearing, to get this 135 degree true bearing, uh, we will add the relative bearing and the ship course. So 090 degree plus the ship course, which is the 045 degree, then the answer is 135 degree true. So that's how we will find our relative bearing, then convert to true bearing. So that's all for our report, and thank you.